Hello, dear all. This is your social science class, and today we are going to start a new chapter from history book, that is New Empires and Kingdoms. This is part 1 of this chapter. In this video, we are going to study some of the topics that are Prashasti and what they tell us, Samudragupta Prashasti, genealogy, Harshvardhana and Harshcharita. So this chapter starts with Arvind plays a king. Arvind is a schoolboy who got a chance to act as a king in a play. He had expected that he has to march solemnly in splendid robes, he has to twirl his mustaches, and he has to just hold a silver wrapped sword with gusto. Imagine how he must have felt when he got to know that he has to sit and play a veena and recite poetry. He wondered, a musician king? Who was that? Let's move to the next topic, that is Prashasti and what they tell us. Arvind was supposed to be acting as Samudragupta, a famous ruler of a dynasty known as the Guptas. So Arvind was supposed to act as Samudragupta and he was a very famous Gupta ruler and belongs to the Gupta dynasty. We know about Samudragupta from a long inscription inscribed on the Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. So there was a very long inscription that was composed as a kavya by Harisena and it was inscribed on Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. The old name of Allahabad was Prayag and that kavya was composed by Harisena, who was the poet and minister at the court of Samudragupta. This inscription was of special kind as it was known as Prashasti. It is a Sanskrit word and its meaning is in praise of. In earlier times, the kings or the emperors, they used to keep court poets in their court so that they can write praising words about them. Moving to the next topic, Samudragupta Prashasti, let us see what Samudragupta Prashasti tells us. The poet praised the king in glowing terms. So the poet has used beautiful glowing terms and praising words for Samudragupta, such as a warrior, a king who won victories in battles, who was learned and the best of poets. Even he was described as equal to the gods. The Prashasti was composed in very long sentences. Let us see one of such sentence. Samudragupta the warrior, whose body was most charming, being covered with the plenteous beauty of marks of hundreds of scars caused by battle axes, arrows, spikes, spears, barbed darts, swords, iron clubs, javelins, barbed arrows, long arrows, and many other weapons. So the poet is describing those scars, those marks which he got from the weapons in the battle or the wars as beauty of his body. Harisena, who has written Samudragupta's Prashasti as Kavya, and it was a very long inscription, he also describes four different kinds of rulers and also tells us about Samudragupta's policies towards them. First one was the Aryavartas, who were 9 rulers and they were uprooted and their kingdoms were made a part of Samudragupta's empire. Second was the Dakshinpath, the rulers of Dakshinpath. They were 12 in number and some of whose capitals are marked with red dots. If you look at the map on page number 113, they surrendered to Samudragupta after being defeated. So there was a war and they got defeated in that war. So they surrendered themselves. But Samudragupta allowed them to rule again. Third one was the inner states including Assam, coastal Bengal, Nepal, and a number of Gansanghas in the northwest. So there were some inner states in the northwest. They bought tributes, followed his orders, and also attended his court. Fourth one was the outlying areas or the outlying states. They were perhaps the descendants of Kushanas and Shakas and the rulers from Sri Lanka also. They have submitted themselves to him and they also offered their daughters for marriage. Our next topic is genealogies. So most Prashastis also mention the ancestors of the ruler. So, in this genealogy, we will be talking about Samudragupta's ancestors. This one mentions Samudragupta's great grandfather, father, and mother. His mother, Kumara Devi, she belongs to the Lachavigan, and his father, his name was Chandragupta, and he founded the Gupta dynasty. He was also the first ruler of the Gupta dynasty. He adopted the grand title of Maharaj Adhiraja, a title that Samudragupta also used. His great grandfather and grandfather are also mentioned simply as Maharajas. It seems as if the family gradually rose to importance. Our today's last topic is Harshvardhana and Harshcharita. Harshvardhana was the ruler of Vardhana dynasty, and Harshcharita is the biography that was written by Banbhat, in which he has mentioned about Harshvardhana and his ancestors. While we can learn about Gupta rulers from the inscriptions and coins, in the same way we came to know about some of the kings from the biographies. Harshvardhana, who ruled nearly 1400 years ago, was one such ruler. So we got to know about Harshvardhana from the biography that was written by Banbhat, who was the court poet, and the name of the biography was Harshcharita. It was written in Sanskrit. Zhuangzang, about whom we have read in our last chapter, also spent a lot of time at Harsha's court and left a detailed account of what he saw. So, Zhuangzang was the Chinese pilgrim who visited India, and he has also spent a lot of time in Harshvardhana's court and also left in detailed account whatever he has seen in his court. Harsha was not the eldest son of his father, but he became the king of Thanesar after his father's and elder brother's death. His brother in law was the ruler of Kannauj, and he was killed by the ruler of Bengal. Elder brother of Harsha and brother in law of Harsha died in the battle with ruler of Bengal. After that, Harsha took over the kingdom of Kannauj and then led an army against the ruler of Bengal. Although he was very successful in the east and conquered Magad and probably Bengal also, but he was not very successful elsewhere. When he tried to cross the Narmada and march to the Deccan, he was probably stopped by a Chalukya ruler known as Pulkashin II. In our next video, we will be talking about Pallavas, Chalukyas, and Pulkashin's Prashasti. That's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.